Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is general or collective tarot oracle reading for the middle 10 days of July. And Capricorn, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Capricorn, we all have a little bit of Capricorn in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Capricorn in? That will give you further clarity as to where this information is most likely going to affect you most. Also, this is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted it, what was going on in your life back then? It might give you further clarity. All right, we have the Four of Cups coming out. The Four of Cups is talking about disappointment. This dude's sitting underneath the tree and he's feeling pretty sad here. The cups do represent love. It can be romantic love, but it can also be love of any kind. And it could even be love of something that you love to do or something you love to be. If this is romantic love, quite often this can represent a third-party energy involvement, and sometimes a pregnancy that comes out of that involvement, but not part of the couple, which, as you can imagine, is disappointing. And sometimes it can also talk about maybe you've given someone 3 chances and they're asking for a 4th chance. Now, that could be someone in your romantic life. It could be someone that you work with, partner in business. It could be friends, family, whoever, that is. And they're asking for a 4th chance. And you're like, no way, I'm 3 strikes, you're out. And, that's fair because people tend to show us who they are the very first time around. And sometimes this could also represent maybe you've tried to launch something in business or whatever, something that you love to do, or maybe applied for a school or a project or whatever this is, and it just has failed each time. The universe is saying, give it one more go. This can also be maybe you've had 3 different separate relationships in, a romantic sense, or energy like that. So you've given it 3 tries and you're like, I don't know if I want to give it a 4th try. It's just too disappointing. But you can't sit under that tree forever. I mean, you could, but it would be a shame. This guy doesn't look that old. So, you deserve to have love in your life. This is the underlying energy for the entire reading, and this is for the internal forces. We have the 3 of Swords. This is kind of a sad looking card too, because it's talking about 3 swords in this person's heart. But if you look at it the second time around, the heart is really big in context to the size of the swords. So this is something that you could heal from. It's talking about forgiveness and healing of the heart. In matters of love, especially with this, along with this card, this could be a third party splitting up a couple here with that disappointment. And it also this can also represent like gossip, slander. Maybe a bunch of people are talking about it, This could represent, sometimes it even can represent perjury in court, or maybe someone who has like their heart in their throat. They're afraid to speak their truth for whatever reason that is. And this sometimes can mean that there's a heartbreaking decision that needs to be made. The swords do represent the element of air, and that is, they're representing your mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. So it can be talking about, having to make a decision that is really challenging and difficult about someone or something you love. We have the Ace of Pentacles for your self-image, how you feel about yourself at this time. So the Page of Pentacles, the pages are, their main job is to deliver communication or information of some sort. They would work for the King and Queen really young, around 7 to 14 years of age. And that might sound super young to you, but you have to remember back in those days, they didn't live as long as we do. It would be about half as long, actually. So the page, this would be a real coup for him, like to be able to get this position with the palace. He gets to be dressed in finery, be educated. It would be very prestigious for his family, and probably a way better job than most people had. His main task, as I said, would be communication and information. Hello, Stella. Communication and information, and also maybe he would run small errands, etc. As he matured, he would then be given more challenging tasks, and when he was 21, he might even be considered for knighthood, as long as he could afford his own horse. This card sometimes can give you an idea of the information coming in. It sometimes can mean that it's about when you were like in elementary school, high school, or starting college, just stepping into the workforce. It could be around that time frame that this is some information or something came about, or maybe someone you knew from that era. It also could represent someone you haven't seen for 7 years, 14 years, 21 years. It generally is someone that you knew when you were younger. Maybe it's about something that happened when you were younger. But the Pentacles energy, it's something to do with your lifestyle. The Pentacles are about health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. Of course, money is a big part of that. So the Pentacles represent the element of earth and earthly matters. Of course, you need to have money if you're going to have a good lifestyle in 3D world these days, for sure. But money, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. So this is more than just about the money. But this is usually some sort of information coming in, documents or something like that. Now, these days we have so many ways of communicating that, it wouldn't be in person like it was back then. So just know that when the knights or the pages come in, you don't have to be expecting it to be in person. It could easily be a phone call, a text message. You might get something in the mail, something delivered, documents, paperwork. It could represent also an email. Maybe you're on social media, someone messages you. You could see an event and then end up going to an event, posted there, and then run into someone who has exactly the information you need. And it's also saying that communication is important right now. Take a look at what's happening even for like 5 minutes a day, just to find out what's happening at the top with the elites at the top of the pyramid. What's going on in the world, because especially when it comes to business, it could really give you some really good ideas what the trends are, and maybe what some of the challenges are, in the business world at this time. And just so you know, all of the characters in tarot are not gender specific. So this would represent masculine. This could be a female inner masculine energy as well as a male, and vice versa for the other characters. So we have the Tower here. The Tower is talking about, it's a reality check, and it's a harsh one usually. The Tower is never a comfortable thing that happens. If you're on the right side of the law, usually like down the road, you'll be saying, oh, that was the best thing that could have happened. Like, I really needed that reality check. But it's still uncomfortable for everyone. And at first the universe will whisper to you and then get louder and louder and louder until you finally have to listen. And this is talking about, lightning hitting your tower, and then the castle is on fire. There's two people falling out. One is saying like totally shocked, and the other one is like, ugh, I knew that something was gonna happen like this. And maybe it has to do with that. The word got out enough, if there was enough gossip and slander and that type of energy, that now people are talking about it, and maybe you heard through the grapevine what was going on here, just looking at this reading here. And then we have the Fool. So the Fool is talking about starting a new cycle after that. So this could indicate like a separation or something, like if you're starting on a different cycle, after seeing these cards here. So this is talking, the Fool in any case is going on a new cycle, and the energy is like the sun is white because it's representing, this is like a blank slate. He's taken a leap of faith to go on a new journey here, or in a new way. And, he has a little bit of baggage, but not much. And he has these tattered sleeves. And this is an indication that even though it's a blank slate, he's taking the information, everything he learned from the last cycles that he's been on, and he's taking that with him so that he can be the best version that he can be and do the best, have the best cycle that he can. And then we also have this energy of the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like maybe there was a shift here because of a relationship where someone, this can talk about multitasking, being really busy, but it also can talk about, two different lifestyles being lived, or a difference between your domestic life and your public image, there's a big difference. And when that happens, it can cause problems for both. We do have a new moon coming up on July 14th, and that is in the sign of Cancer, and that's the 4th house that this card is in. So the new moon is bringing up issues, hidden illusions and secrets from your domestic life. And that may affect your, across the scale from this is the Capricorn energy. So the Capricorn energy is about public image, your career, your reputation, being really responsible. The Capricorn glyph is the mountain goat with a dolphin tail. And this is, Capricorns are very disciplined generally when they'll take consistent steps of action to reach their goals and climb. And, you can imagine a mountain goat climbing a mountain with a dolphin tail, but yet they'll get right back up and keep going. So this is one of the most ambitious signs, and it's the most mature of all the pentacle signs. So this could be talking about, sometimes this card is talking about multitasking and becoming busier and busier and busier, and needing to kind of slow down a little bit, which could be the case as well. But I would say this is also talking about juggle your options, but never juggle your morals. And I feel like someone was juggling their morals in their domestic life, and maybe now the gossip and slander and that could be affecting your public image, your that type of energy. At the same time, we do have, on June 29th, we had Mercury go retrograde. And so Mercury, when it goes retrograde, Mercury is responsible for communication and technology-based, communication. And so the combination of a moon, if you're in this energy, and you just found this out, because hidden illusions, secrets quite often happen, they come out around the full moon and the new moon, because people are a lot more intuitive and they seem to pay attention more. The thing is that this moon, the miscommunication on top of that, because Mercury went retrograde, and it retrograded into the sign of Cancer as well. On top of that, Cancer is ruled by the moon and tends to be very emotional. It's a water sign. It's the youngest water sign, very emotional. So this energy, be very careful right now, because you might be feeling super emotional, and the communication, the way you communicate could be taken incorrectly. Like you might say something and someone takes it the wrong way, or they say something and you take it the wrong way. You might have technological problems with, your computers and that type of energy. It's just the way of Mercury retrograde. Also, there's a tendency during Mercury retrograde for old issues from the past coming up. And so this energy sometimes could be like someone coming in from, a past relationship or something and saying, hey, I want another chance. I miss you. And it's talking about, like, are you going to go back in time? If someone has made you feel this way and it ended up that it was a tower, are you actually going to let them back in? I mean, that would be your choice. But a lot of the energy now supports more new energy. And then we have a new cup of love coming in, I feel. I don't feel this is someone from the past, because this is the Knight of Cups. And he's like the knight in shining armor that we read about in the romance novels. And so he's bringing in maybe an offer of love. And it's the same energy as like with the Page, where he, you know, it might not be in person. This could sometimes even represent online dating or whatever, someone contacting you that way, sending you flowers, giving you an offer of love. Usually his offer of love, you know, he's a class act. He's dressed to the nines. He's all shiny. He comes in pretty clear. So this is your self-image. This is a reality check that happened, and it's also affecting your abundance, which is why there might be some news about pentacle energy. And then this is early communication in life. So I feel like you're pretty much like used to being pretty happy-go-lucky, like the Fool. Like it's you know, and maybe that's why you maybe didn't pick up on this energy happening, and maybe that's why it was really shocking to you. This is talking, as I said, about the domestic, and this is creativity, romance, and children. And then we have judgment here, and judgment is in your position where this is about your day-to-day life, your health, and your scheduling, your habits, basically. And so this is talking about judgment being called on whatever has happened here to put you in this energy in the Tower. And you know, the ancestors are literally climbing out of their box. They're so happy that this is happening. The trumpet is blowing, the angels here, and the descendants are waving from across the veil. And it's like, finally, judgment's been called. Maybe they've been watching over you and like been upset for you and trying to get your attention, maybe in your dreams, etc. Sometimes, though, this can also represent, the Tower might not be about this like as a romantic position. This could be something like a family member or something, because this is, the new cycle is, you know, in your early life communication. And we do have a page here as well. Sometimes this card can represent skeletons coming out of the closet, and even Pandora's box being opened. Once Pandora's box is open, then a bunch of shit comes out. And that happens sometimes with the Tower. So let's see here. We're going to check out now from the bottom of the deck, what is the energy for the external forces. So the external forces, we have the Hangman here. The Hangman is talking about... he hangs from the tree of knowledge because he wants to gain a different perspective. He wants to look at something from all angles before taking action. So this could be your energy right now, or someone from the external forces. Maybe it's this new romantic partner wanting to come in and sussing it out, you know. It could be something like that. This is someone from the external forces, this energy coming towards you. Sometimes this can represent stuck energy, like they might be stuck in or you might be waiting for some information to come in, if this is about business or something, and you're like, why is it taking so long? And it might be because the person hasn't totally made up their mind as of yet, but they'll take action once they have. And then we have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is, like, we have a lot of communication coming in this reading. The Page of Swords is talking about, sometimes it can just be like the communication is from yourself. And it's kind of like you have like this aha moment, like where you maybe, you know how sometimes you are trying to remember a word or something and it's on the tip of your tongue and you're trying and you can almost see it in your head, like how it's spelt out, but you're trying, it starts with an E, it starts with an A, that type of energy. It can be like that aha moment where, I got it, that's it. And it could be an epiphany about something. This card can represent a breath of fresh air because the pages are young and enthusiastic, like they're starting out in life. They landed this really good position. They're looking forward to exploring the world, right? And so again, this is communication coming in now. This could be, sometimes this card, you can see how focused the Page of Pentacles is on the Pentacle, but this is the Page of Swords, he's not paying attention at all to his sword because he already knows the logical question. He understands that this sword is a double-edged sword. One edge is representing logic and the other one is your intuition. So he knows that if he knows what the question is, now he wants to think outside the box and see if he can use his intuition to come up with a real creative solution to the problem. And this energy is talking about moving forward, there could be some sort of information or communication coming in about with some knowledge, or this energy sometimes can represent someone who's an investigation, a private detective, that type of energy, some sort of technological information coming in. It can represent like, wanting to find out the facts, like that type of, the truth. And the Page of Swords is in your partnerships, commitments, and spousal energy. So this could be talking about some information coming in regarding any of that. And then we have, look at this, we have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is transition. Now with this card here, this sometimes can represent divorce if we've had this third party energy, and maybe we've had a tower hit and now we're on a new cycle, and then there's new love coming in. This could represent like a divorce lawyer or someone that you've gone to for, like, this is someone who has authority, who's an expert in some field. The King of Swords would be someone that's well educated, and they would be like, this is a king. So if it would be someone that, like, maybe a politician, but it would be someone high up, like a president, a prime minister. Maybe this would be someone in the Congress, in the Senate. In Canada, it would be more like ministers in the federal government, that type of energy. And this quite often does represent a divorce lawyer. So this could talk about people that are in the judicial system. It could be like a head prosecutor, a judge. If this is a lawyer, most likely one that is a partner in a prestigious firm, a well-established one. Sometimes with the sword energy, this can also represent like a surgeon or a veterinarian, maybe a dentist, psychiatrist energy. Also people who are doing research and patents and that type of thing. So this can be it could even be a best-selling author or someone who's doing research maybe, and they find the cure for some disease. It's people who are using their education and using words to earn their living, and less likely to be like physically engaged in their work. Very good with words. So the King of Swords understands that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used as to uplift people. And that if you give your word and you don't back it up by action, then your word is actually useless. So this is in transition. It definitely could be that this is maybe a lawyer that you've consulted with. Of all of the kings and the queens in the tarot, the King and Queen of Swords are the most likely to be divorced or separated couple. And then we have the Eight of Swords, which is representing a mental prison. So you might be like, this could be about this heartbreaking decision because of something like this. And maybe you and your partner are deciding to separate or get divorced, or they've left and, they want to be with the other person, and you have to just deal with the legalities of that. Or this could be you deciding. This is actually coming from the external forces, though. So this is more likely to be that someone's making a decision, and then you're just going to have to kind of make decisions after you're waiting for them to make the decision first. This could be your energy waiting for them to make the decision first. This is talking about, at one point, like the water in tarot does represent emotions. And I feel like, to begin with, there was way more water here. This person feels duty bound to stay. And quite often that has to do with, people that you care about, and making decisions about people that you care about that you don't want to hurt. But you have to make the decision. And this can sometimes not be not wanting to see the problem fully, or not being able to come to an answer that would be acceptable to you. Like, okay, I'll go with this one. But I feel that there was way more water here, because now there's less emotion. And I feel that this figure has put 7 of the 8 swords behind them. And so these are representing thoughts that they now have put behind them, and they have the right foot moving forward onto dry land. And the left foot is still in this puddle, but it's very shallow puddle. So I think the emotion has dissipated, and maybe all the tears have been cried, and now it's okay. Now I can think more clearly. I don't feel so emotional. You notice that the castle's in the background, and she has her back to it. And this could be, you know, as I said, her thoughts that she's put behind her. And this also can be thoughts that other people have said about you, you know, behind your back. So sometimes this can represent needing to leave your castle, like your home. You know, it's not uncommon that that happens when if there is a situation where there's divorce or separation. But I feel like the decision is finally starting to be made, and maybe more information has come in because we have this energy of this is in your higher learning. And then we have temperance. So temperance is being patient. And, you know, sometimes it's not that easy to be patient. It's talking about not giving into the emotions, not giving into the anger. It's not about not feeling them and expressing them and healing from them. You definitely want to do that. But it's talking about not, you know, going on a rant or whatever and then regretting it later. Quite often we can, you know, especially in situations like this with all these swords here, we, you know, like, look at, this is all coming, you know, this is all regarding this energy. This is your internal forces though, and this is coming from external. So you might have to be patient, and they may have to be patient for all the information to come in. It takes time, especially if there's legalities involved. Now, if this isn't about a romantic situation, it could be something that happened in business or whatever, you know, partnerships that way, and there's, you know, lawyers involved, that type of thing. But this is talking about being devoted to your path. This is considered like earth angel energy. This might even be a new lover coming in to help you out during this energy. The earth angels, in the Bible, it says that God sends 144,000 chosen people, like down to earth angels that do their alchemy, and they mix that with the universal pool of waters. You see her right foot's in there, and then she has her left foot grounded on the earth, and where her left foot is, she's growing these beautiful flowers. So sometimes it's talking about the earth angel energy is about being patient, being on your destined path, your path of glory. The sun in the background there represents God's energy. So this could be someone, maybe this is this new person coming in that's been waiting because they know that this energy is coming at you, and that they want to, this could be someone maybe that you haven't seen for a while, that heard maybe you're going through a hard time or whatever, and they are like, hey, would you like to go out for dinner or something? And then maybe it turns into a romance. It could be that type of scenario is what I'm picking up. This is talking about your career reputation. So it could even be like a healing energy if this was regarding business or a business partner or something that you love to do or be. This could be someone coming in to support you in your line of work or whatever that is. And then we have, we have the, this is quite often considered like the tarot card for marriage. It's talking about the beginning of a new foundation. And it's talking quite often like this can be considered like the commitments. It doesn't have to be marriage, but especially with the King of Cups coming in here, you know, it could be something about that. Like maybe you've healed your heart now, and this energy is coming in. It's a promise of the beginning of this ultimate fulfillment. And so this can be talking about, especially with this card coming in, this is in your blessings. So this could be a blessing coming in for you after you get through this energy, that you deserve love in your life, and to be committed with someone that doesn't want to be, you know, with a third party. So this is talking about, you know, at the beginning stages of this. Basically, if you look at it from like modern day terms, this could be you have the down payment for your castle, but now you have to make the payments on it still. You know, the question has been popped. Everybody says, or not everybody, but the two of you say yes. Hopefully this isn't the third party as well. And then, sorry, and then this maybe, then it's talking about you're going to have to put your energy into the relationship to have a healthy relationship. But that's a promise of better things to come once you get through this energy. That, you know, the tower can take some time. Yeah, because here's some energy coming in. So, you know, this is talking about sabotage from outside, like other people's thoughts being directed towards you and sabotaging you. So this could have been something that happened. This is definitely like a concerted effort by usually more than one person to put you in this position where they have you down on the ground and they want you there. This is talking about being stabbed in the back. This is kind of outside energy, like thoughts of other people coming towards you. And this is, but in many ways, this is a blessing in disguise. So maybe the gossip or whatever is what you heard. And then once you know the truth, then you can make strong decisions for yourself. So this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes this can talk about like a decade of energy. It can be one person 10 times. It could be 10 different people or even 10 groups of people. It would depend on what the situation is here. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of pentacle energy here, which is about, business and decisions and that quite often. And we don't have even one, like this is the only card where there's actually passionate action being taken. And the action is it's in your favor. So I feel like this is talking about this energy here of, having to get through this. But I feel like whatever has happened, I feel that you, it's good that the truth is coming out and that you're able to move forward and, be in a better, this is talking about a blessing in disguise. So down the road, that, remember I said sometimes when the tower hits, you're saying, oh, it was really hard, but it was the best thing that could have happened. It could be that type of energy. All right, I'm going to clarify this for those of you who want clarification. If you are leaving the reading here, thanks for your time and your energy and your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. I really appreciate them all. They're really helping me build my channel. From the bottom of the deck, this is from my Oracle, Tales from the Vector. And these are for the underlying energies. This is one of the paintings from the Oracle. This is the Capricorn one. There's 64 paintings in total. And the numbers on these cards represent the paintings as they show up in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. And you can check it out if you want. I will put these in the description box below in the order they appear. I've been working on this since 2007. There's some really big 3-foot by 4-foot paintings. I'm an artist and I was having a lot of fun. And then the story started coming out after doing 64 of them. And so now I'm kind of gotten into writing again now, and I might write, it's almost like it's a fantasy tale that I'm writing. And so I'm getting the characters together and that. I'm having fun with it. So I do hope you enjoy it as well. This is the star energy. This is talking about having innocence. That's about going, the star is when you're following your north node. It's like the northern star. It's your guiding light to be on the destined path that God put you on. And it's saying, like, you can't just sit there under that tree forever. Like, you're a star. Yes, and you're innocent. You need to have, this is talking, you need to go on another cycle. You need to give love another try. You're way too young to be sitting under this tree forever. You need to heal, of course. And this is talking about it. And I also feel like the road to hell is paved with good intentions is on this card. This is a karmic space. And a lot of times, like I said, this person looks quite young. A lot of times, people don't realize what a huge commitment being married is, and maybe starting a family in particular. Like, that's a huge commitment. And we think we're young. We think, oh, maybe you were just maybe this energy is just talking about that, having good intentions, but you were just not mature enough to make a decision like that, or your partner wasn't mature enough, and it just, you both didn't plan to get divorced or whatever, but it just shift happens in life. And the Emperor energy, this can sometimes be talking about, this is the Emperor is high level performance. The Emperor is like all four kings rolled into one person, and he's like super performance. Like he wears his armor underneath his robe, and he's like, whatever he's in, he's alpha male energy. So whatever occupation he's in, he's going to be like high level, really looked up to, respected in that. And, if you feel like your career reputation has been damaged from like the gossip and the slander and whatever, I feel like this is saying just have a little bit of patience and things are going to work out. This is talking about sometimes we can learn so much from these difficulties that we learn things that we would never learn otherwise, and it elevates us into this position where we really learn how to deal with stress, and we learn how to deal with it like with grace, and come out of it better off in the end. And this is also talking about pride. Yeah, like it's not fun going through the tower, and especially if it's something like about like this. Pride can, they say there's pride before the fall. And like, yeah, if someone was like engaging in this behavior and, this, I would say one of the people here was not shocked that this happened, but they were trying to avoid, dealing with it. And you probably most of the time when we're in a situation where our partner is, stepping out on us, we would know on some level. Your intuition would tell you, but it's kind of like you don't want to know. I've come to the conclusion after doing a lot of these readings that love is blind. It's not just a saying. People don't want to see bad things about their partners and that. We want to see them in a good light. So this is Temperance. It's talking like twice here. So again, a lot of the readings right now are talking about this. Have temperance. Remember that this is probably going to be a little bit more emotional of a new moon coming up on the 14th. And look at this is sitting right on the 14th. So this is like, be aware that like, Mercury's retrograde, there is communication issues sometimes. It doesn't have to be, and people can come in from the past and want you to take them back, and they might catch you at an emotion. Maybe someone from the past here heard that now you broke up, and like they come in, but you have this other lover coming in that's actually, the one that would be the best for you, right? So we have, just be really careful when you're super emotional, especially if you're going through a major transition, because it's sitting right on that energy where the new moon, that all the emotion is. And then we have Cancer here as well. So it's saying again, like use your, if you're going to get yourself involved with someone, make sure you do the healing work that you need to do. And also, use your intuition. That's when you're at your most, and take time, like use this temperance. It's saying take the time to get to know someone before you commit to something with someone. Because when we're in this position, we're quite vulnerable, and you want to make sure that you're making strong choices. Also, I just want to point out that when I have horoscope signs come up in a reading, I'm not talking about individual people. I like to just look at it from the perspective of what can we learn from each of the signs. Every sign has their strengths and weaknesses and their specialty that they're really, really good at. And one of the specialties is Cancer is very sensitive, and that can make them very emotional, but it also makes them very, very intuitive. And so I'm not talking about individual people. This could be the case that, there's a Cancer and a Capricorn involved in this, but you have to use your intuition on that. I just want you to understand that's not my goal. The Capricorn energy, I already talked about that ambition and responsibility. So you're showing up for yourself here. And, instead of like, this is God's judgment. Yes, it is. But it's also could be talking about you using your good judgment, and that might be part of it as well. Let's get the underlying energy for the external forces. Denial. What I don't know won't hurt me. Yeah, so it's kind of like that, what I was talking about earlier. Like there might have been signs that something was up, but you just didn't want to see them. And then we have the Leo energy coming in. So this is about the sun coming out after the hardship, basically. Leo energy, Leo is a fire sign, and it's talking about, Leo energy is like, think of teenage boy energy until they mature. They're really good leaders, but they can come off as being arrogant rather than, if they're not feeling that confident and they want to fill in the holes, they'll kind of come off as being arrogant until they mature and become good leaders. But this is saying that, this is in your partnerships and that. So this, I feel like it's like, be careful that you don't get into a relationship until you're ready. You do some healing on, that type of thing. Like you don't want to be causing yourself more problems. And then we have, attachment. And so this is an energy of, anytime that you're in a relationship, and whether this is business or whatever it is, but this is a karmic space. It's the mother of them all, because when we get attached to someone or something, then we can fall into all the other karmic spaces because we want to hang on to it. And this is saying what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. And so sometimes when there's divorce, all of a sudden all this love we had for each other, and then all of this is happening, then we have to divide assets, and then the lawyers get involved, and it can get like really challenging. This is, look, it's sitting right here on the tower. So it's definitely saying that what happened here is the reason why this is what it's about. Whatever happened here, that's what it's about. And the card says divorce, but the worst divorce would be from source. And then we have shooting star. So I just feel like this is talking about like whenever, again, like not, it's not about not feeling your emotions, but it's about having patience and being devoted to staying on your destined path. So it's talking about a good attitude can take you far. Like when you wish upon a star, you can't just sit there though and expect everything to fall in your lap. You're going to have to put your energy into it. So you need to have a good attitude. But I also, this temperance, this has been coming up quite a bit where the same cards are coming out in the readings. And not only are they coming out in the readings twice, there's two temperance cards here, but they're coming out in a lot of the readings like this. So I feel like it's really saying like having patience right now is a virtue. That's easy to say, isn't it? But like I feel like that's just the energy in general for this site, like the readings I'm doing. Capricorn, you're like, I only have 2 more to do, and I think temperance came up in most of the readings, and it's been coming up in my daily readings as well. Justice is coming in. So if there is something that, this is coming in and it's something to do with, a judgment being called, if there's some legalities that you're involved in or whatever, it is saying that there is justice coming in, and it's sitting on this marriage here. So it could be, you might be fighting about money or something. It could be that. Also, remember, we have this judgment card here. So there could be, if this is about business, it could be about commitments and that, and maybe it's getting straightened out. Whatever this sabotage was about, if it's not about this romance thing, it could be about a business or something that other than that happened. And yeah, life's a slice, hold the drama. That's a good advice. Again, that's the energy that's been coming up. So I feel you're going through something for sure. A lot of people are right now. It's kind of in the works. That's life in general, actually. But this is saying you don't have to, it's not about suppressing your emotions, because you need to be able to feel your emotions to heal. But what it's saying is don't let them run away from you, and then you're, regret saying different things, because this can represent, you know, breaking people's hearts with harsh words, and, you know, being, you know, and or the gossip and the slander, like the people around you. If the people around you are talking about you and stuff, it doesn't make things easier, that's for sure. So, you know, try and put a lid on the drama as much as you can. And I'm, you know, this is saying that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel for sure. This, you might even look back, you know, in a little while and say, wow, this was a blessing in disguise. So I am going to leave the reading here for you. Thank you so much for your time and energy, and your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. I really do appreciate them all, and I'll be back with another reading for you soon. Bye for now, Capricorn.